So in this video, we are going to look about conditions and branching. So computers are not just able to do math and all those stuff. Depending on some cases, they are even able to compare things and take some decisions. So we'll see how to tell Clojure program to make some decisions and all those stuff. And depending on those decisions, what gets executed next will vary. So this is called condition and branching. And yeah, let's see about it. So the first condition statement is if. Let me just create a program. Right. Okay. I wish I learned Emacs because this is clunky, right? VS Code is clunky, but yeah, like I haven't learned it yet. I need to learn it, right? So like, let me just put a thing called if.clj, right? So just bring it over here. Those unwanted things. All I need is this ripple over here. Let me go to Zen mode. Right. Okay. Fine. Let me make it bigger. Right. Okay. So I'll just copy and paste it. But if you're learning, yeah, please do type. Please do type it. And if you're inexperienced programmer and this is your first programming language, please do type it. Okay, so that's the thing. Right. So you've got a program called if.clg. This is just a comment. So whatever follows after a semicolon is commented close. So just ignore it. So now what we are just doing is we are just putting let a is equal to 5. This is like variable, sorry, not a equals 5. Oh, yeah, let a be 5. Okay, so this is like a variable assignment in Clojure. And if you want to, okay, okay, I don't want to confuse you more. So all this does is take this value 5 and put it in this variable a, right? And now what we are seeing is like if a is greater than 0, which is true, then this will print that a is positive, right? So that's what it does. So yes, we got the output, right? A is positive. Sorry, 5 is positive, right? So that's how this happens. And all I just want to tell you is like if I want to print a over here, print len a, right? Do you think whether it'll work or throw an error? Throws an error, right? So that's how it is. So this let is being bounded by this braces over here and this braces over here. So the scope of A is only between these braces. Okay, so this will just throw an error. Okay, so this is just a side note, right? So if A is not greater than 0, okay, so if I just put like A is minus 5, let's see what happens. Nothing gets printed. Okay, it just returns null. Like this block just returns null and nothing gets printed. So over here, it what to say says 5 is positive, and of course it returns null. I don't want to confuse you with what is returns null right now. But now nothing happens. Okay, so that's the thing. That's the power of if statement. Only if something is true, you will just execute it, right? So that's how it is. So now let's see another example. Okay, so we'll just name this program as if else.clg. Okay, right. Okay, I'm just pasting it, but please, once again, I repeat, if you're new to programming and all those stuff, please do type it, right? Okay, so here we have put a is minus 5, and we are checking if a is greater than 0, which is false. Okay, so then what happens is actually you're just passing this as arguments to if. So if a condition and then argument, right? If I think it just accepts only three arguments. Okay, so what happens is, okay, let's see in this if else. So this condition is there. it is false because a is not greater than sorry, minus phi is not greater than 0, right? So that's the thing. So the second, this is the first argument. So then if the condition fails, the second argument gets skipped and this one gets executed. The third argument get executed. So here we are just printing a is negative, or it'll just gets printed phi is negative. So that's what happens over here. And now let's execute, right? So sorry, minus phi is negative. That's what gets printed. And now let me just change this as phi and execute. It says phi is positive. So that's how it is, right? So uh, if the condition passes, the second argument gets executed, and if the condition fails, the third argument gets executed. So as simple as that, right? So yes, this is if and else. Like if something is true, what to do? Else, what should I do? Right. So that's the thing, right? And let's see something nested, right? So okay, I will type this because I want to explain it more properly, right? So like okay, so let me keep a program called if nested.clg. Okay, so right. Okay, so right. Okay, okay. I think I need to turn my. Oh God, look at this. The AI is just giving me wonderful autocomplete, but I don't want that. I turn it off. Right. So let me just turn it off now. Disable for closure. Right. Right. So now let us put like let A is phi. Right. So now let me just open a if stuff. Okay. So I think they call this as form. Okay. So like this braces. Okay. So this is a form and this if is a form inside a form, right? So you have this let form over here, you have this if form over here and all those stuff, right? So now let me just put like okay, if a is greater than phi, then what should I do, right? So I'll just print like println uh, a is positive, right? So that's what. Okay, if not, okay, what I'm just trying to do is I'm just opening another form over here. Right? So if a oh okay, a is greater than 0, I'm sorry. If a is greater than 0, I need to print a is positive, and if a is less than 0, I need to print a is negative. Okay. Oops. A is negative, and if this fails, okay, this is the if form over here, right? Okay, so a is negative, and then if that's not true, what I need to say is neither positive nor negative. Okay. Yes, neither positive. Okay. I hope I'm not creating some spelling mistakes or something like that. Even if I do, yeah, please do excuse me and all those stuff. Okay, so I'm not good at English. Okay, so let me just explain this program, right? So first A is 5. Okay, so now okay, A is greater than 0 is true, so it will print A is positive, right? So let me just execute this form. Yeah, phi is positive, right? So that's the thing. So now okay, now let me just put minus 5. What will happen is this condition fails over here, right? So this is the first argument to this first if. Okay, so if the condition fails, sorry, this is the second argument to this first if, right? If the condition fails, okay, if this condition fails, it'll execute the third argument. So it'll execute this one. So it comes over here. So now A is less than 0, which is true. So this is the second argument to this if. Okay, so if, that is, if the condition passes, execute the next immediate one, otherwise execute the one after that. So now this condition passes, so it will print A is negative, or -5 is negative. That's what it will print. So let's execute it. Okay, so it prints -5 is negative. So now let me just put A is 0, right? Okay. Right. Okay. So now what happens is this condition fails. So it comes over here, right? This is the third argument passed to this if block. Okay. And this itself contains a if over here, right? And this condition also fails. Okay. So it will skip this one and it will execute this one. So it will just print A is neither positive nor negative. So let me execute it. And it prints 0 is neither positive nor negative, right? So this is how it works. Okay, so like you can nest if inside if and all those things. In other programming language, if you put nested if, it's considered as haram or something like that. Like you shouldn't do like that. But in Clojure, that's still okay. You can still create very elegant programs by doing so. And Clojure brain is a Clojure programmer's brain is trained to read all this. So I don't think it's a big embarrassment and closure and all those, right? So this is how the nested if works, right? uh okay, right. Okay. Now so how to, okay, so you've got only one statements over here, right? So but how to, let's say like I want to execute a lot of statements, a condition passes or fails, or okay, if a condition passes or fails, so how to do that? Okay, so but if only accepts three arguments, so one is, okay, let me just put a doc for if, see whether it accepts only three arguments, because I'm just saying like, okay, if test, then yeah, what happens else? Okay, yeah, it accepts only three arguments, right? I'm correct. Okay, so yeah. So what if you just want to say if the condition is true, if you want to run multiple statements, and if the condition is false, you want to run multiple statements. So right, okay. So I'll just put, just copy this thing. I'll just write the program. Okay. If multiple statements branch, okay. Okay. Let's, okay. Okay. So now let me just create a variable like is fine, right? And if A is positive, right? And what I can do is I can just print like, okay, uh, say like, okay, println A is positive. Okay, so right, so now it just, oops, not A is, okay, I just want the value to be printed. Okay, so it says 5 is positive, well and good. But then what if I just want to even execute another statement like there are infinite positive numbers. Okay, so I just want to print this also, right? But if I execute this, it doesn't happen, right? Because uh, Clojure thinks, yeah, because this should be executed when this condition is true, and this should be executed when the condition is false. So that's what Clojure thinks. So it doesn't, what to say, like, execute this one. But what if you want to execute these two statements? All you just need to do is wrap it inside form, right? And put a thing called do. Okay, so that's the thing. And so what happens is this do groups statements. Okay, so the do starts over here, right? It starts over here and ends over here, right? And if this condition is true, then this entire stuff gets executed, right? So you're just passing one argument to this if statement, and it gets executed when it's true, right? So okay, so now it just prints 5 is positive and there are infinite positive numbers. If I just give a is minus 5, nothing happens, right? Because this entire thing is just one argument. This do just converts this as one argument, or it just groups statements and it just makes it appear as one thing, right? One block. Okay, so that's the thing. So now let me add another else condition over here, right? So else what I need to do, and let me just okay, just println a is negative, and then okay, then let me just put another one and print there are infinite negative numbers, right? So now let me just execute this. Okay, it says minus 5 is negative and there are infinite negative numbers. So if I just put pi and just execute, yeah, pi is positive, there are infinite positive numbers. TIV, right? So yeah, this is what do statement does, and this is how you can, in conditions, like if you want to execute more than one statement, you can do like this, right? So okay, so okay, so that's the thing about if. This is the basic stuff about if, and I think this is all stuff about if. Okay, so I don't think it's much more complicated, and that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.